I want to bring this up only because I think it's in light of a tragedy, a bizarre tragedy. You know, I mean, it sounds like just terrible luck, but I assume we're going to find out whoever is in charge of the ship that plowed into a bridge in Baltimore. Maybe they're at fault. Maybe it's just terrible bad luck. Maybe it's mechanics. Whatever it is, why this cargo vessel is floating towards a bridge and brings it down. You know that by now. A bridge was knocked down at 1:30 in the morning by I believe it was a South Korean cargo ship. Singapore. I thought, yeah, okay. Or was it on its way to Singapore? Either way, it's a cargo ship. It's floating. It loses its ability to control itself, lack of a better term, and then plows into a bridge, and cars and people fall into the river. One of whom was rescued and didn't even go to the hospital. That's got to be at least 100 feet into 42-degree water. So it's a bizarre tragedy. Okay, but by now, I assume most people by now have watched the video footage, the slow-mo video footage early in the morning of this ship just floating along, and then it just plows into the bridge. And do you feel, this is something for all of us to take in. You know, we can always talk about how are tragedies covered. Do you think it's responsible coverage, irresponsible coverage? We live in a time where there is instant access to stuff that happens. Okay, that's the time we live in, and it's going to be posted almost instantly as well. So most of us, first thing in the morning, if not overnight, watched the video footage of this ship slowly crashing into this bridge, and the whole thing comes down. It's remarkable. And yeah, we all noticed the cars going across, and we all can't help but think, wow, that person made it. They didn't. But an interesting thing came up. So the mayor of Baltimore, who I think has handled himself very well in light of the tragedy, is on CNN. Now, since we're all consumers and we're all sort of in this together, I'm just curious how people feel about his criticism. One of the things he says, other than, you know, the right stuff about, hey, we're trying to find people right now, we're in a rescue mission, that kind of stuff, and they're doing all they can. Nobody's denying that. And he said all the right things. But one of the things that he came back and said is, I really wish you would stop showing the footage of the cargo ship crashing into the bridge. And it made me think, wait, should they? I don't know. I don't know that I agree with that. I don't even know if that's reasonable. I don't know if that's possible. I think we can all appreciate that families would not want to see it. We get that. At the same time, we live in a world where we have access. So I'm just curious how people think about him saying, please stop showing this. I think we can all answer and say, but we're going to keep looking at it. You're going to keep watching it. You can't help but watch it. I don't know. Maybe you feel guilty if you've watched it more than once or watched it more than 10 times or showed somebody else. I don't know how you feel about that. It's just kind of an interesting finger pointed at all of us, including news organizations who are covering this. And yes, the video has been out there for some time. The video is played constantly, and we've looked at it constantly. Is there fault to be had from what this mayor is talking about?
I want to get us to Mayor Brandon Scott, the mayor of Baltimore, who is with us right now on the phone. Mayor Scott, first of all, I just want to say that I am so sorry that your community is going through this right now and that there are families wondering and worrying about their loved ones at this hour. Can you tell me so far what you know about exactly what happened here to the Francis Scott Key Bridge?
Well, listen, we have an unspeakable tragedy. We know that this vessel struck the bridge and the bridge collapsed. There were individuals working on the bridge at that time. There are cars in the water. Our fire department has confirmed that as they lead this ongoing search and rescue mission through sonar. That is where our focus is. It's about those souls and people that we're trying to find and get out of this water. We know that there's going to be questions about the bridge and traffic and the port, but right now, everyone in this world's focus should be about these souls and those families who are wondering if these people are going to walk back in the door after they walked out to work last night.
Yeah, that's a really good point. The anxiety of all this, and then plus just watching the video of what happened and how quickly the bridge failed. Can you give me some sense of what you thought at first light this morning when you saw the pictures of actually what that bridge looks like with the barge slammed into it there? What were your initial thoughts?
Well, it was something out of an action movie. It's something you never think you would see. And being here right now, looking at it, is even more surreal. And it just makes you think about, again, those families, those individuals that were on that bridge, those folks that are even on that vessel, even more, because no one should have to endure. And I'm going to be the first to ask that CNN and everyone else stop showing the video. No one needs to see a possibility of their family member being severely injured or otherwise over and over and over again, because it's just traumatizing our community.
Do you agree? I mean, maybe it is. I don't even know if it's practical. I don't know if that is it's an understandable request. The guy's living through it. He's talking to these people. He's talking to these families. I think we all can appreciate his perspective on this. I just don't know how. I mean, if a CNN anchor, I can't remember what time this was, turns and says, yeah, we got to stop showing this. I don't know. I don't know if that's practical. I'm not sure that's completely true. I think it's impossible not to look and go, I cannot believe that happened. I can't believe the way that looks. I don't even think any of us are saying anybody's at fault yet, except, well, why the boat couldn't turn. It's just an interesting criticism that I think we all have to take in. Should it be shown again or once? Or if you're running a news organization, again, first of all, TV news is a tiny blip on the media screen. It is a tiny, tiny audience. You hear in campaigns, you hear in politics all the time, is everyone acts as if CNN and Fox and MSNBC is influencing so many people. They are tiny audiences in the media landscape. One TikTok video in a bikini obliterates the audience of CNN and Fox. So it's not the only way people consume news and video. In fact, it's a very small way. It's usually just those of us that are older. So I don't even know. It's impractical to say, you people need to stop looking at this. It doesn't mean we're any less sympathetic. It is what it is. I don't know. Do you think it's a reasonable criticism? Is it a reasonable criticism to news? Is it a reasonable criticism to us? Because we're watching a lot.